trend towards ad-based services. Now, let's consider emerging technologies, NFTs, blockchain, the Metaverse. Let's see what we can expect there for the future, present and the future. So for that, we have Mike Vorhaus from Vorhaus Advisors. He founded Vorhaus Advisors in November 2018. He provides consulting services focused on strategy, investment, opportunities, product development, business development, corporate development, and marketing to a number of digital and gaming organizations. And then he also advises venture capital and private equity firms on their investments in the industry. So Mike, welcome. Are you here?
Thanks very much. Okay, yes, Mike. There we go. Cool. And this is the pointer? Barely works. Well, we'll try to use it. Thanks, everybody. I know these are topics of great interest to certainly the press and certainly a lot of us. This is just the general methodology, super high quality online research, projectable to the nation, the adult nation as a whole. Because we're dealing with some issues here like NFTs, Metaverse, cryptocurrency that are not particularly well known, though we did ask people if they knew about it, we then also provided them with a definition. This whole deck is available from OTT.X, and by the way, I just want to say again what a great group this is, and I've loved working with them for quite a few years. And you can, if you have opinions about these definitions, I am open to hearing them. Okay, so general awareness. Let's start up at the top. Cryptocurrency is the best well known. These purple bars at the bottom of each set of four are the general population, so 18 till death. And you can see here the first three or four are pretty well known, and then we start to go down to some numbers that are really small. Non-fungible tokens, blockchain, the metaverse, and you think about how frequently those are used, these are really very low concept awareness numbers. Until you're aware, it's pretty hard to want to use it. Looking specifically first at crypto, the best known within this group of technologies that I asked about, very strong awareness driven, I think it's probably safe to say, by the press and by a lot of other media. Okay, I'm going to leave it up to you guys to put that back full screen. I didn't touch anything.
Laptop's tired.
I swear to God. I think we got to go back one line there. Okay, so there's our awareness, basically a majority of the people, and then let's see what they do with cryptocurrencies. 74% of everybody, 92% of the old people in my age group, nothing at all. They don't own any. And then you can see all these different categories. Most of them are you know, kind of known to some extent, like Bitcoin and Ethereum, and then Doge, and some of the others have become more popular. Binance has gotten well known, Solana, Cardano, but spread out very small. And the people that own cryptocurrency own very little. Typically less than $1,000. I own one Bitcoin. Well, I own some Ethereum too, but I own one Bitcoin, and I have no idea. It was given to me like at $100 a Bitcoin, and I have no idea where the code is. So one day when I clean out my house, I will find what, you know, could be worth $1 million by then. You have no idea. This is all new, brave world. And then how are people using it? Most people, of the small group of people that are using it, are actually trying to make money out of it. They're trying to buy and sell and return money. And then others are actually using it to exchange for cash. And then you also have here sending currency. I think a lot of people thought sending currency was going to be like one of the top uses, and it probably will be between first world countries and second and third world countries, but it certainly hasn't become yet. Spend in games, my particular area of interest, 11% of a very small group of people that are familiar and use it. Likelihood to buy crypto in the next year, about 22% of the people say they're likely or very likely, those that don't own it. Excuse me, out of the total population of 2,000 respondents. And then look at that for 18 to 34-year-olds, almost twice as likely. 22%, 20% for 42% versus 22% of the 18 to 34. This, like so many technologies, is driven definitely by the 18 to 34 population. And by the way, many years ago was asked by somebody at EA, how do we make games that are attractive to 14-year-olds? And I said, market games that are for 18-year-olds. So you can be pretty sure that the teenage population, this study for a variety of reasons, I didn't start until 18 years old, but I'm pretty confident that you'll see the teenagers being a lot like the 18 to 24 population. This gives you a little bit of a comparison too. You can see that cryptos and blockchain and NFTs are all never used by most of the people. Blockchain probably has, in my opinion, probably the most confusion about whether something's actually on the blockchain or not. I won't get deeply into this. I'm sure there's some people in the room that would love to get deeply into it, and I'm sure there are people in the room that know more about this than I do. But one important thing to understand is that you don't have to have a public blockchain to have NFTs, to have currencies. I mean, you might if you're going by like a super orthodox definition, but there are also private blockchains. There's also, in many cases today in gaming, all you really need is a good, secure, general private ledger. But if you're gonna exchange NFTs between games, or between marketplaces, or between environments and whatnot, then a blockchain that is public and universal and goes across all of these capabilities with, in the case of Gala Games, somebody I'm involved with, the blockchain lives on like 52,000 computer nodes. Non-fungible tokens, probably in gaming for sure, gotten the most attention. It's really kind of easy to think about these things. Not a lot of people know them. You know, they got a kind of a nifty, you know, acronym. You'd think that might help. The non-fungible doesn't help a whole lot. This technically means you can't turn it into money. That's actually not true, because you can buy an NFT, you can take it to a marketplace and you can sell it, and you can sell it for crypto, you can sell it for cash, you can convert your cash. But I think one of the reasons this has become so popular in gaming is that it's not so much the technology, it's actually the object. It can actually be a sword. It can actually be a dress. It can actually be a piece of data. In places like Sweden and Latvia and Lithuania and countries around there, they're actually attaching an NFT in a public blockchain to land deeds, which has been in some cases an attempt to prevent graft and piracy of land deeds in certain countries. I mean, you can, companies are now using NFTs to label food, so that they can follow food through the process and know through an NFT that they can look at, and it's on the public blockchain or a private blockchain, and they can actually know, okay, this food came from this lot and it's in Iowa right now, or it's been delivered to California. So NFTs are either objects, and they represent ownership of that object, or they're pieces of data, they're labels that you may or may not own in the traditional sense of the word. Most people have no idea what an NFT is. Tiny little percentages, highly correlated with age. Of that group, a very small group has actually bought any NFTs. So we are literally, to the extent this is a greater fool theory, in other words, it's only worth so much today because I think somebody who's an idiot is going to buy it at a higher price down the road. To the extent that's true, for a modest period of time, I think long range, it's a real trend. You still got time. It's super, super early in the NFT bonanza. So if you want to play the greater fool theory, you can go. And as a matter of fact, I just heard Animoca raised another $100 million from Temasek. So there are all kinds of opportunities out there to buy any NFTs and to buy companies that are involved in NFTs. And again, as you can see here, very small usage numbers. Very tiny usage numbers for having sold an NFT. Most people are using it to actually own a good. Some people are using it to be able to move goods among games. I think there's probably confusion by quite a few people about whether they can really do that. Some of the games being designed today specifically are designed to do that, but I can assure you Call of Duty today does not do that. That's kind of the vision that's out there, is I can buy a huge tank in Call of Duty, and I can take it with me to wargaming or to World of Tanks or something like that. I think we're a little bit of away from that. I think what you'll see first, and you're already starting to see, is people moving their identity around. one identity or two or three, but like kind of in the early Microsoft Xbox days, you made a Microsoft gaming tag and you kind of use that in different places, particularly around social media. People do believe that they will spend more money on virtual goods and more money in games if these exist. And that is one of the reasons why you will find more and more money heading into the NFT space, because a lot of people, a lot of consumers really believe this is going to make virtual goods, in-app purchases even more attractive to them. Whole series of things you can do with your NFTs. Again, as you can see, almost 2/3 have no interest whatsoever. Not a lot of big differences in terms of age groups either. Once people are interested in doing something with them, you'll see these expand dramatically over the next, say, 5 years. There's a lot of platforms out there. Some of you have heard of them: Coinbase, OpenSea. I don't know if you got So Rare's up there. Super Rare, must be a riff on So Rare. Immutable. Most of these guys have either raised a bunch of money to do this, or they've actually got a currency and are paying for this stuff with their own tokens. Product categories, specific games where people think there are NFTs available, increase in purchased goods if it was trackable and exchangeable. Metaverse, I won't spend a lot of time on it. It's the least well-known of all of these. Most people can't describe it. I love the fact that most people identify it as Facebook or Mark Zuckerberg. So Mark has definitely achieved something in regard to the Metaverse. Very low familiarity, very driven by the older population. You know, it's really simple. If you read Ready Player One, you probably know what the Metaverse is. If you haven't, you probably don't. And you may not care. I come from the crowd that believes there'll be lots of metaverses, metaversi, like in Versailles. That would be a metaverse, and not just one metaverse. People love this immersion. That's fundamentally what drives that interest. Thank you very much. Ethereum is available for sale in the back.